Welcome back to a cartoonized, concise community medicine series with me, Kavi Tendral. Today we'll see the continuation of National Tuberculosis Elimination Program. This is part 3. The video link for part 1 and part 2 is given in the description to check it out for good continuity and understanding. If you have not subscribed our channel, do subscribe for more interesting videos like this, and as well press the bell icon so that you will receive a daily video notification. In this video, we'll be seeing about the treatment given for tuberculosis. Coming on directly to the drug sensitive TB treatment. One, if it is a new case, and before that, a treatment will be first in an intensive phase, another is a continuation phase. Intensive phase is basically to kill the active bacilli, and continuation phase is basically to sterilize the bacilli. So if it's for a new case, it is 2 plus 4, so totally of 6 months. This continuation phase can be extended to 6 months extra, 4 to 6 months extra for TB meningitis and disseminated TB. Even for a previously treated TB, the continuation phase can be extended till 6 months in case of TB meningitis and disseminated TB. For a previously treated, the IP will be of 3 months, of which the first 2 months will be included with all the first line group of drugs, and in the next month we don't add streptomycin. Basically for IP it is HRT and CP it is HRE. Next, coming to drug resistant TB management, very simple. So TB patients are there, they are segregated to be TB resistant based on the algorithm. So the pre-treatment is given at the district drug resistant TB center, and from there for further evaluation and for the other drug resistance and so on, it is referred to the nodal center, and from there HIV testing is done, family counseling, and if it is a female is counseled for family planning, and things are going on. There, a district TB officer will visit the patient's home to basically verify the patient and the address, and then he will meet the family and counsel the family, give the ID card to the patient, labeling he's a drug resistant TB, and he will also give the treatment card for starting the TB treatment, and also provide a dot provider in that area itself. This is all taking place in a sub-center. Now coming to the standard drug regimen for drug resistant TB. What is the drug regimen? One, it could be H-mono or poly drug TB, shorter MDR TB regimen, or conventional TB. Shorter MDR TB and conventional TB regimen has some criteria which we will see sooner. One thing to note is rifampicin and pyrazinamide should be considered for efficacy in the short-term treatment, whereas rifampicin and INS, that is isoniazid, are considered for resistance. It could be of rifampicin resistant only, that is RRTB, which is detected by CB0, and RH together it could be multi-drug resistant. In case of isoniazid resistant alone or any poly-drug resistant, it is H is resistant one. But one important thing is the rifampicin is still susceptible. Thereby, in HREZ, take out the remaining is REZ, so REZ plus one from group A and one from group B second line drug, which we'll see sooner. This is also discussed in yesterday's video on classification of drugs also. Coming to short term MDR, it is all about the WHO guidance only. Here they give moxifloxacin, clofazimine, kanamycin, etenamide, and pyrazinamide, high dose isoniazid, and ethambutol. So all these drugs are given, of which KM-ETO-HH is not included in continuation phase. Over here in conventional also, KM, that is kanamycin and pyrazinamide, is not included. On the toto, kanamycin is removed in the continuation phase in all regimen. To remember the short-term MDR drugs, we have a mnemonic Maxi-Comito. Maxi-Comito. So it is Max C, that is C, and ZHE is also pronounced as C, Comito. So KM, ETO. These are all the drugs coming under shorter MD or TB regimen. Now this diagram, flow chart or the presentation is basically mentioned to remember the types of resistance, for which first we should know the TB drugs, first line, second line, of which the drugs are listed. We have discussed yesterday also. And the types of resistance would be H-mono, RR-TB resistant, mono, poly, multi, extensive resistant, and mixed pattern. So H-mono is only isoniazid, RR is only rifampicin, mono resistant is any one drug in first line drug, polydrug resistance is any more than 1 in first line. When it comes to XDR-TB, it should be a resistance from drugs of first line and including with fluoroquinolones and second line injectable drugs, and as well any drug resistance from other group. This is all including under XDR-TB. Mixed pattern is from this group 1, the drug will be resistant and the other will be from this second line. That is mixed pattern. Either it could be RR-TB resistant alone, or it could be H mono poly with this second line drugs. Probably this is the most important slide in the discussion, so that this is more important to remember the drug regimen and so on, what we discuss in later slides. Coming to sputum smear exam is done for everyone who is going to pass from or conversion from IP to CP, and end of every treatment there will be sputum smear examination to say that person is cured or not, along with the culture. Drug resistant tuberculosis is always guided with drug susceptibility testing, and the treatment is following the drug susceptibility result. By 2020, NTEP module says that all TB cases are tested for drug susceptibility invariably of any stage, new or previously treated or whatever, all must be given for drug susceptibility. And now they have taken out the category 1 and 2 categorization of the TB patient. There is no categorization, and as well invariably everyone is given drug sensitivity test. Next, coming to MDR-RR-TB with additional resistance. The person could have been resistant for first generation first line drugs. After that, the resistance could be in second line fluoroquinolones, second line injectable, and it goes like this. In order to make the classification more easier, I just classify it as, if at all there is resistance, we can give new drugs or no new drugs. Likewise, same XDR-TB with new drugs or no new drugs, mixed pattern with new drugs or no new drugs. Based on this, the drugs are many, so it's really tricky to understand. Let us stick on to this in order to get it clear and not get confused about this classification. Now coming to the duration, if it is isoniazid mono or poly-DR resistance, it is usually IP 3 months, but it can be extended if at all a sputum is positive till again 3 months. So 3 plus 3, 6 months, and conversion period of 6 months, which is very fixed. So total of 12 months. If it is of shorter MDR-TB regimen, it is of 4 months to n number of months. What is that n number of months? It could be of maximum 2 months. Why there is maximum 2 months is by the end of 4 months there will be sputum test. If it is positive, then the month could be extended. That is intensive phase is extended, and the continuation phase is fixed for 5 months only. Coming to conventional person who does conventional MDR-TB regimen, intensive phase is 6 months to n number of months. That n number of months is maximum 3 months, because remember, till now we have seen the smear, but conventional is culture. We are going to take this for culture on solid or liquid media. If at all the culture is getting negative, you can go for CP. If it is positive, we need to extend for 1 month. Still there is no negativity of this culture, we need to go for clinical and radiological assessment. After clinical and radiological assessment, even of the extension till 9 months of IP, if the patient is still put on positive or culture positive, that person is labeled to be treatment failure, and the moment the person is labeled as treatment failure, he is reassessed and re-evaluated on drug resistant TB algorithm, and he is labeled to be a mixed pattern DR, and treatment regimen is going to be the same for that. XDR-TB is like IP 6 to 12 months and CP is 18 months. For a conversion of IP to CP, 2 cultures to be negative consecutively after 1 month it's done. And if it is to be extended till the culture is negative, it is extended. And the moment it is extended for months, the capromycin injection should be given 3 times a week for time of extension, especially from 7 to 12 months. In terms of mixed pattern of any type of mixed pattern of resistance, IP is 3 months and CP is 6 months. 6 months is fixed. In that 3 months also there can be extension, because there could be sputum positive can be there. Because of the sputum positivity, we can still extend the IP, but that is true for 6 months only. We'll continue the shorter MDR-TB regimen. Overall, the patient coming under this is the patient who is confirmed to be MDR-TB by CBNAT or LPA, that is the line probe assay, or phenotypic drug susceptibility testing. After this testing, the person is labeled to be MDR-TB, and those patients are coming to a shorter MDR-TB regimen. But then still there are some exclusion criteria. Example, there is pregnancy, extrapulmonary tuberculosis, except pulmonary effusion person having, and lymph node TB, second line drug resistance patient, and second line drug exposed patients of more than 1 month are coming in the exclusion criteria. People coming in this exclusion criteria are taken for or treated with the conventional MDR-TB regimen. Coming to the role of intensive phase, we have already discussed. It is rapid killing of actively multiplying bacilli, continuation phase to ensure elimination of persistent and that causing relapses. There are existence of 4 sub-bacillary population, that is a population that is extracellularly multiplying, extracellularly intermittently multiplying, less than 10 power 5, dormant bacilli, and extracellularly multiplying but slowly multiplying. So for all, these are all the 4 different types of sub-bacillary population, for which rifampicin is for extracellularly intermittently. There is no drug for dormant bacilli as of now, and intra and extracellular bacilli, which is living in the acidic pH, is done by the pyrazinamide. Rest of the bacteria which is rapidly growing in the extracellular region, that is combated by isoniazid, rifampicin, streptomycin, and ethambutol. This is from the module released by Ministry of Health and Family Welfare 2020. The main objective in treatment could be render the patient non-infectious, decrease the fatality, morbidity, and minimize the development of resistance. And the basis of treatment would be domiciliary short course treatment regimen, and direct dots. The domiciliary treatment has been proved to be effective as effective as senatorial treatment, because this is done. The study done in India shown that smear positive TB patient treated on domiciliary basis have achieved high cure rate as good as those when treated at sanatorium bedsides. One thing, and short course chemotherapy is best is because after introduction of rifampicin and pyrazinamide into the treatment regimen for nearly of 6 months. The advantages of fixed combination of dose combination could be it is simplicity of treatment, easy drug management, and lower the risk of emergency of drug resistance, and as well it increase the health workers compliance. The fixed drug combination is given on the basis of the weight of the patient. If at all the weight of the patient increases by or more than 5 kg and crosses the next weight band, the category then patient should be given in the next higher weight band FDC drug to be noted. That is 5 is the cutoff. When we treat pediatric tuberculosis for weight till 39 kg, it is given as the child dose. After 39 kg, that is from 39 kg on, the child drug dose will be given based on the adult weight band to be noted. Hope this video helped to understand something. Thank you so much for your patient listening.